But we begin tonight with the lucrative politics of climate collapse and the greed that is literally letting our country burn. Today, millions of Americans from Iowa to Maine are suffering through heat warnings, watches, or advisories. Cities across half of the country, like Chicago, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Detroit, Philly, and now New York, are hitting temperatures exceeding 90 degrees Fahrenheit, though it feels closer to 100. Many of these cities could experience heat indexes hitting 105 degrees by Sunday. These increasingly oppressive hot days aren't a coincidence. They are the predictable impact of the climate crisis. And they're not just an inconvenience, they're also killing us at higher rates. Heat-related deaths among older Americans have increased 54% in recent decades. In Florida, changing weather patterns are bombarding the southern tip of the state with a seemingly never-ending series of storms that have left whole streets flooded, cars crippled, and 2 people dead. In California, more than 20 fires were sparked across the state since Saturday, burning over 20,000 acres. These aren't just climate stories. They're actually economic stories because people are getting paid good money to ignore them. Billionaire donors like Paul Singer and Joe Ricketts, to name a few, or fossil fuel industries, companies like the Koch industries, are paying politicians big bucks to poison you and dirty your air and let fires and floods destroy your homes, all so they can reap unlimited, unregulated profits. Some of their favorite politicians are Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and senators like Rick Scott and Ron Johnson, because they really do deliver. Nationally, Trump promised to allow oil companies to drill with impunity on public land, said he'd roll back climate protections and deregulate big business for the small price of $1 billion and a presidential exemption from going to prison. His allies' Project 2025 promises to increase fossil fuels, roll back climate investments, and stop tracking the economic impact of climate change. On the state level, DeSantis signed a law that would literally erase climate change from state statutes. Last week, he downplayed what everyone in his state is seeing with their eyes, which is that these extreme weather events aren't happening once in 100 years, but multiple times a year. While his client denialism is making him money, it's costing you so much more. Home insurance prices have increased 102% in the last 3 years and cost Floridians 3 times more than the national average. According to the Associated Press, insurance companies are so sick of these climate disasters, which Republicans are actively ignoring, that homeowners in Florida, California, and Louisiana are finding it nearly impossible to find an insurance company that will cover their property, which makes it harder to own a home. Not only have big donors bought themselves some politicians, but they've also bought themselves a federal judiciary that cares more about rich corporations and wealthy donors than they do about your health and well-being. The Supreme Court is the most pro-oligarch of all time. The 6 Leonard Leo justices, Barrett, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Alito, Roberts, and Thomas, have the most, I repeat, the most pro-big business voting records in the history of the court. They've ruled that corporations are people, that the Environmental Protection Agency cannot protect you from pollution, and they're ready to go even further by stifling the regulatory power of all federal agencies. While corporations are a protected class, your environment is not, women are not, those who want to avoid being slaughtered by guns are not. And right now, the MAGA billionaire class are desperate to stop Joe Biden from getting in the way of their goals by increasing their taxes, by letting Trump's massive tax cut for the super rich expire next year, and to stop the IRS from ending a loophole they've used to hide their massive sums of money so they don't have to pay taxes. Buying politicians and judges who are willing to sacrifice you and your future is the easiest way for the ruling super rich to ensure that they remain America's ultimate and only protected class. Joining me now is Robert Reich, former Secretary of Labor and Professor of Public Policy at UC Berkeley, and Mark Joseph Stern, senior writer for Slate. Thank you both for being here. I am going to go to you first, Robert, because I feel like I've just stolen your social media for probably the last 6 months in putting this together, because you've been screaming about this, trying to get people to focus on this. Well, we are focused, my friend, because America is burning and somebody is getting paid for it. Your thoughts?
Joy, this is something that is getting really under the radar. I'm glad you're putting it on the radar. But big business, billionaires in this country are pouring huge amounts of money into our politics. We know this because a lot of things are not being done that should be done. And now that we are approaching perhaps the most important election in American history, and one of the candidates, Donald Trump, says that environmental problems and climate change are a hoax. He calls it a hoax. And Republicans are falling in line behind Trump and grabbing the money that's coming to them. A big business really is exchanging the climate and the health and the safety of America and our democracy for the sake of what? Tax cuts and regulatory rollbacks and more profits. It is really shameful. It is something that hopefully people will not tolerate. I mean, I think, we are all consumers. We all have some power, and we ought to exercise that power.
And let me just, to get you all in the audience just to understand this, the top recipients of oil and gas money in Congress are Representative August Pfluger of Texas, of course, Ted Cruz is number 2. Senator Kevin Cramer of North Dakota, Nikki Haley, when she was a governor, Donald Trump is number 5. Ron DeSantis is number 6. Then you go down that list. Mike Johnson, Speaker Mike Johnson is number 8. You've got Steve Scalise, John Barrasso. These are the people from Open Secrets that are getting the most lucre. The top recipients of gun rights money. Donald Trump is number 1 there. Ted Cruz is down to number 2. Speaker Mike Johnson is number 3. Nikki Haley. You keep going down that list. Jim Jordan, who loves to do hearings. You go down that list. And then let's last go to the defense industry. This, as Donald Trump is considering mandatory military service for Americans and automatically registering young men for the draft if he gets back in. And there you see that list. You've got Roger Wicker of Mississippi. Joe Biden is on the list, but not right behind him is Donald Trump. And this is the defense industry. I want to come to you very quickly, Mark Joseph Stern, because there are no judges on this list, but they might as well be. Because you've got politicians who are essentially being paid, at least their PACs are being paid, their campaigns are being funded by billionaires. Then you've got these judges, and you go all the way up to the Supreme Court. That feels like pay to play as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of the conservative justices might as well have ExxonMobil stitched across their robes like they're race car drivers. These justices are doing everything in their power to make it impossible for the government to fight the climate crisis. Just a few years ago, hobbling Joe Biden's ability to cut carbon emissions from some of the dirtiest power plants on the planet, now poised to issue a series of decisions that makes it impossible for the EPA to bring regulatory action and penalties against big polluters that are poisoning our air and water, right? These judges are doing the dirty work of politicians because politicians realize that it's pretty unpopular for them to go out there and say, hey, these gas industries and oil industries and polluters deserve every right to go out and destroy the climate in the country. But if they outsource the work to judges who are unelected, who have life tenure, then they can just sit back quietly while the Supreme Court does, again, the dirty, dirty work. And I think this is a connection that few voters actually end up making. I think that the genius of the Republican Party's plan here by outsourcing this work to the courts is that they can pretend as though they have clean hands, right. That voters are not looking at the massive heat waves, at the novel hurricanes starting earlier and earlier every season, at the poisoned water in poor black communities, especially across the country, and saying the Supreme Court made this happen, or Donald Trump's federal judges in the lower courts made this happen. They're throwing their hands up and they're frustrated and saying, why isn't the government doing anything? Some of them might be blaming Joe Biden, saying, well, he's president. Why isn't he doing anything? And the answer is because President Biden is not being allowed to do what he so desperately wants to do. He is boxed in at every single turn by the judges who are doing the work of the fossil fuel industry.
Right, and they work as a tag team, Robert. It's a tag team because you've got judges who are willing to do the work and you've got politicians who are taking money. If I put those back up just really quickly so I can let you comment on them as well. If you look at the top 10 recipients of the oil and gas money, they're all Republicans, all 10 of them. The top 10 in gun rights, they're also all Republicans. There are 2 Democrats, only 2 Democrats on the list for defense money. But other than that, we're talking about all Republicans. Now let you listen to a Republican. This is Senator Pete Ricketts. He was opposing a bill to ban bump stocks, which essentially turned firearms into machine guns. It turns an AR-15 into a machine gun. Here he is about the bump stock bill.
We need to be very clear why the majority leader is now holding this show vote. The Supreme Court made a decision last week that he didn't like. A 6-3 majority of the Supreme Court ruled the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives overstepped their authority when they tried to reclassify bump stocks as machine guns. The Supreme Court made the right decision. In January, I joined Senator Lummis and other colleagues in filing an amicus brief urging the Supreme Court to do what they did.
So first to you, Robert. He filed an amicus brief to try to make sure bump stocks would be legal, which, of course, Clarence Thomas dutifully did, literally copying and pasting from a extremist gun organization into his ruling. And he is number 18 on the list of top recipients of money from gun rights organizations. 18. He's number 18, so he didn't make the top 10. Your thoughts, Robert?
Well, this is corruption and bribery, and it should be understood as corruption and bribery. But fundamentally, we've got to get big money out of American politics. We've talked about this before, but the big money is getting bigger. Every election cycle, it gets bigger. More billionaire money, more big industry money, and it is not for the public interest. It is not for anything that all of the rest of us get anything out of. In fact, very often, it is just tax breaks and regulatory rollbacks, the rollbacks of health and safety and environmental protections that the rest of us need.